Hey guys, this is Colin with Rennline. I'm one of the design engineers here. Today I'm going to be walking you through the install of these carbon fiber grill slats in this 95B Macan. Let's get into it. So to get into this kind of first steps, there's these 4 pins on either side of this kind of plastic shroud piece, and then also on the back of your hood latch release lever, there's a pin. So what you need to do is just take all these out and get this removed, and you can get on to the next step. Next step after you get that center trim piece out is you're going to want to remove these side trim pieces. There's 2 clips, one here, and the rest just pulls out of center clips. After you get those trim pieces removed, what you want to do is grab yourself a T30 and a T25 Torx bit. You're going to want to remove these 3 T25 and this 1 T30. There's the same amount on each side, so get those removed, and then we'll get under the car and get the rest undone. Once you get all these top screws out on both sides, next you're gonna go into the wheel wells, get these 4 T25 bolts out. There's a set on each side, take those out, and then we can get under the car to finish it up. Sweet guys, now that we got all those wheel well liner bolts out, let's crawl under the car and get finished up. So down here, there are 2 bolts on this brake duct diverter. So we're gonna wanna take those out, and then same thing for under the chin splash guard, under the oil pan. There are 3 bolts up here. Those are the only 3 you need to take out, and then we can get this bumper right off. Now that we got all those bolts out under the undercarriage, grab a friend and let's get this front bumper peeled off. There are 2 plugs right around this front fog light that you're gonna wanna disconnect, so don't take the bumper too far away. Let's get into it. Now that we're looking at the back side of the grill screen, what you're gonna need to do first is disconnect these 2 plugs and then take out these 6 T25 bolts to get access to your grill slat housing. So to pop this part out, on the back side there's some finicky clips. You just gotta keep working them back and forth, and eventually it'll pop free. Pull forward on the unit and it should slide right out. Now that we have the OEM unit out, what we need to do first is salvage these 2 plastic clips from it. You can use a plastic trim removal tool or a screwdriver, either works fine, but just wedge it in there and pop it right on out. Sweet. Now that we got those clips out, what you're gonna wanna do is hit these LEDs with some heat from a heat gun. They're held in by foam tape, and we need to release that to get them transferred into the new unit. Now that this is all heated up, take that same plastic trim removal tool that you had before and wedge it in between the LED and the plastic housing until you get down to that tape and just tear her apart. Now that you got the tape all cut, it's still going to be a little bit stuck in there, so pry it apart in the back and then push from, I like to start from the front and gently work your way back, slowly releasing the rest of that tape. Now that we got both LEDs out, what you're going to want to do next is remove the rest of this foam tape that didn't come off and stay in the original housing, so we can get prepped and start getting our own tape on there. Now that we got the tape off, let's hit it with some isopropyl alcohol. So your kit will come with a roll of 3M tape. What we're going to use for this is we're going to reapply some tape where that factory OEM tape was. As a baseline for putting this tape down, you'll see there's 2 tiny ridges in the plastic of the LED. We're going to want to trace those from start to finish with your new tape and get that seated finely on there. So now that we got the tape all applied, we're going to take those 2 pins that we took out earlier and place them in our new carbon fiber housing. Get those seated. They should click in nicely, not go anywhere. Next, we got to take our fog lights and indicators. I like to pigtail the 3M tape so we can slide it in nicely. And just as a note, these only go in one way, so don't worry about putting them in the wrong spot. They won't fit in the other spot, but just nicely Slide them in there. You will have to spread the carbon out a tiny bit to get it to seat nicely and clear the clips, but it should slide in nice and easy. And then you should slide it into place. There's a cutout on the back of the carbon for the indicator. Line that up, seat everything together, it should click, and then grab your tape and pull it out. With the tape removed, give your housing a squeeze and seat it forward with a nice thumb press. Now that I've got these LEDs in here, just gonna reinstall it the same way you took it out. And as a reminder, the clips are finicky. I like to start with these front points, but let's get into it. Now that you got your new housing installed, what you're gonna wanna do is install your wiring harness again, and then reinstall your 6 screws. Let's get started. Now that we've got everything installed, let's throw the bumper back on the car, same way that you took it off. That wraps up the install of these carbon fiber grill slats. If you like this part and want to see more, check us out at Rennline.com.